So just on the theme of rocks making you money, this one was very glittery in the sun. It sparkles all over. There's pyrite or chalcopyrite or gold sparkling through all of this. And I got it from the tailings of one of the quarries in Ipswich, and actually had to do hardness, acid and streak test just to confirm what this is, because I thought it was a gneiss with quartz vein, chalcopyrite and quartz veins, but you can see it's quite dull and there's no sparkling. So the black and the white are not the darker amphibolite, biotite, muscovite sort of, not muscovite, amphibole minerals. It's actually graphite. It's a dark streak and it's a little bit softish, and the calcite here, or the calcium carbonate, it's not quartz, hard crystalline quartz. And the minerals again could be pyrite, like in the previous video, chalcopyrite or gold. And so this one's really special because everything's of value here. So this graphite here, it's a more pure form of carbon, so it's a very clean sort of, if you can extract that out, crush it up and extract it. I'll talk about that in a second. And then you burn that for electricity. Limestone is extremely rare, so it's no coincidence I got this from Ipswich. So calcium carbonate is used to make cement. The iron, copper and gold, I'm not actually sure what we really use gold for. I know it has a few niche applications, like in phones and stuff. I'm sure we can use other materials. So it's kind of ironic. You can see the sparkly crystal there. I'll do some close-ups as we go as well. So obviously the iron we need for steel, and the copper we need for wiring, as well as a million other different applications. And so everything about this thing is valuable. Nothing really can be thrown away. The whole thing can be used. And you'll see from some videos, I'll attach some descriptions, some videos, that to extract these metals, I actually mix it with graphite and calcium carbonate. So I wonder if you could just burn this whole thing and get pure minerals. The other thing is this book here notes about about how it forms, possibly. And so I've gone into a little bit more of a formation list here, because the graphite must have been living. So the carbon must have lost its hydrogen, so that's been reduced. That's been oxidized, loss of hydrogen, and then the metals are reduced. So it's a lot more complicated than that, but that's just a simple overview. One gets reduced, one gets oxidized, and the carbonate, calcium carbonate, could have been from living matter as well. And then there's sort of the intersedimentary layers here, and then it's gone under slight metamorphosis, which is what limestone is, which is there used to be huge deposits. This was just the tailings of a quarry, what's remaining of obviously something that was very, very valuable. And then just to get to the chemistry as well, just to note that the huge redox that goes on here, and just how I'll put the link to the videos on how to extract the metals, and also how when you're burning that sulfur, how easily it can acidify soils, as you can see in this here, pyrite soil acidification. Note the salt hydrolysis in the last equation as well. Link that all in with your senior chemistry, guys. Oxidation numbers, salt hydrolysis, all that sort of stuff. And then you can also see which is in your syllabus as well, when you burn the graphite with sulfides in there, how easily that converts to sulfur dioxide, and that reacts with water, the sulfur oxides, to create acid rain as well. All right, and you can see that all in this rock and how that actually comes about. Okay, so you can see where these, physically see where all these chemicals are. All right, and link that all in with your chemical equations.